an alternative to mobile data and satellite connectivity, which has driven down connectivity prices and increased the range of applications that are accessed. Opportunities for infrastructure remain, particularly in terms of driving internet access and usage and affordability. While internet affordability has improved, the price of internet access and costs remains high. In the report, we do map these costs relative to other countries, and we do find that Kenya is actually quite expensive when compared. Opportunities remain on non-digital infrastructure as well, which has a direct impact on digital access and usage. So for instance, poor roads in rural areas are then passed on to users in terms of costs, because this leads to an increase in costs for installation and maintenance by MNOs. So this not only drives prices up, but also reduces equitable access. The fifth driver is enabling platforms and services, and these are the platforms and services that facilitate other digital functions. For example, digital payment systems, which form the transaction layer that then facilitates financial transactions between actors in the digital ecosystem. One such enabling platform in Kenya, of course, is M-Pesa. M-Pesa has not only driven the country towards a cashless economy, but has also fostered a range of other innovations in the financial technology sector. Another one is eCitizen, that has been widely mentioned this morning, and the launch of the IPRS in Kenya, which has led to easier KYC authentication. However, some challenges persist, with opportunities remaining in launching other enablers, such as the digital ID, the Huduma number, which we know has stalled. So the sixth core driver is business and innovation, which has the potential to grow economies and to leapfrog various challenges in various sectors, for example, AI. However, the good news is that Kenya is ahead of the curve on this. The proliferation of innovation hubs and incubators, along with the growth in venture capital, has created an innovation environment in Kenya that attracts top talent to work on emerging technologies. Currently, Kenya is home to trailblazing startups, most of them which have been developed as partnerships between local and foreign talent. Nairobi is also emerging as one of the biggest technology hubs in Africa. However, innovation developments are only possible once the foundational areas, e.g. skills, infrastructure, and enabling platforms and services are in place. So this driver is much more significant for mature digital economies, while nascent digital economies should be much more focused on laying the foundational drivers in place. So we also have the two exogenous drivers that we mentioned, digital champions, and this is a visionary leader within government or civil society who drives digital adoption and transformation. In Kenya, for example, Dr. Bitange Ndemo was frequently mentioned by stakeholders as a digital champion, given his leadership as permanent secretary in the Ministry of ICT. We now have a new one from Elgeyo Marakwet, and I'm sure many of you in the room are digital champions as well. The second exogenous driver is emergencies, and again, this will look different for different countries, but in Kenya we identified two examples. One was the post-election violence of 2007 to 2008. This could not have been predicted as a catalyst to the mass adoption of mobile payments that followed. With bank branches closed temporarily due to insecurity, most Kenyans increasingly turned to mobile money and sent funds to relatives and to pay for goods and services. Another unpredictable event, of course, was the COVID-19 pandemic. Its biggest impact has been the societal shift towards remote work and a cashless economy. With paper money believed to be a potential source of virus transmission, of course, this accelerated the use of these platforms. So overall, this is what a digital driver's template could look like at a national level. And we encourage other countries to test this out. And with all these commendable successes and some notable areas for further progress, what can we take away from Kenya's journey? We consistently landed on an overarching insight regarding digital transformation. It's not linear, and governments must position themselves favorably at every juncture. So what this may mean in one country will likely look different. That said, this report has provided insights into how the actions of Kenya's public, private, and civil society actors, as well as the outcomes of unpredictable events, can catalyze digital transformation. So we hope this will be helpful as you read through, and please reach out to the ICT Authority or the Dalberg Group in case of any questions. Thank you.
A round of applause for Maureen, please. Thank you so much for that. And of course, as she spoke about not only Kenya as a case study, but how we can replicate this and get those synergies across geographical borders. And to go through that particular discussion at this point, I'd like to call on stage the Executive Director for Africa at the Thunder School of Global Management, Mr. Philip Figo. A round of applause for him as he comes on stage. Asante sana. Philip, floor is yours.
Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. Just checking. Good afternoon once again. You want to stretch? You're good. Thank you so much. Let me call quickly my panelists to the floor. Honorable John Kiari, the ICT Chair at the National Assembly. Those who know me, this will be very quick. Let me call Ezra Chiluba, DG for Communication Authority. Let me call David Bunei, Managing Director for Kenya for Oracle. Quickly, George Njuguna, Director at Safaricom. Clayton Naidu spoke in the morning. Please feel free to sit. We will have to work on our agenda next time. And Wycliffe Celebwa, Country Director for Dow. Karibu, karibu, karibu. Do you have enough seats? Good. We'll try to be quick. This panel is very... Oh, sorry. There's another chair here. I didn't know it was at Ambassador. Somebody's trying to say hi to people. You want to sit here. Thank you so much. I'll be very quick. Basically, this panel is looking at a couple of things. And being the first panel, I think we have to be careful to the extent of not to repeat what was said in the morning, but to the extent of laser focusing on what we've been asked around connectivity and inclusivity. I think that has been an underlying pillar from today's morning discussions, especially with the Prime Cabinet Secretary. The other piece, of course, that has been coming subtly throughout the morning was the issue of acceleration, because technology is accelerating at a pace that we're struggling to keep up. When we talk about AI, it's really the acceleration of where we think things are moving. And so there's basically an urgency, and that urgency requires agility. And this is why this panel has been put together. And so in the interest of time, I already had a prior conversation with my panelists so that they can laser focus to the extent of what the institutions are, what they're doing around inclusivity with regards to connectivity. And the essence of how I framed the discussion was connectivity is not just about physical connectivity of devices through the internet. It's also about connectivity of people, and that's something that has been coming up in the morning, that we're just not talking about technology. We're talking about technology within our context, but also we're talking about technology within a context of people, but also people are not homogeneous. That people are different, and I'll raise it again, my panel is male only, so let's also think about women. Let's also think about persons with disability. Let's also think about young people. Let's also think about industry, not as homogeneous, but also small and medium enterprises, community-based organizations, innovators, individuals who are now companies that are more exponential. So I think that's the broadness of this discussion around connectivity, which literally lands on human interoperability. Because ultimately it's not about technology for technology's sake. It's technology that ensures that we have better humans on how we connect, on how we improve each other's lives, leveraging on this new tool and technology a tool. So let me start with Safaricom. Basically for me, and I'll laser focus on this, we heard about Hustler Fund, we heard about what you do around opening up your platform so that people can leverage on. But let me laser focus on to what extent you being a global player, are you also ensuring that other little players are included in this future. And for me, the future is now. It's not tomorrow. It's about now. So if you can quickly just speak about what you're thinking as a company, and I know you're doing it, sometimes you just not talk about it, how you're thinking about inclusivity for the future, that's one. And two, are there other resources that people can leverage on? Because sometimes a lot of these folks do not have the capabilities you have in terms of reach, in terms of resource on the wallet, in terms of voice, being able to amplify what you do very quickly. So potentially, let me just drop that at your doorstep.
Thank you, Phillips. A very good question, and I think in the morning I didn't have time to go fully into the details, but I'll take two areas. Number one, if you look at the Daraja platform that we've put around M-Pesa, Daraja has over 50,000 young developers who are largely the ones that are connecting most of the banks and organizations. So we've put an open API platform. We publish the APIs. You don't need a large project. And even when we looked at the new data protection guidelines, instead of having some large projects that many of the organizations who integrate into Safaricom would have required, we actually put it right on Daraja. And we're going to continue doing that. It's the same conversation we're having on not just a Daraja, but also a marketplace. If you look at the new M-Pesa app, there's a lot of small businesses that are there. Of course, you can buy your SGR tickets, you can buy your plane tickets, but also you can have your Airbnb type business there, and small insurance, InsurTech, and Meditech. So I believe the realm we're moving to play on is the realm of platforms. And so we use our superior technology platforms, extensive connectivity, our experience in reaching the bottom of the pyramid, and indeed local and international connectivity to have a platform that then people can come there and you have a two-sided ecosystems where the buyers and sellers are coming on. So that exists today. We're going to continue to expand it, and the work now happening with government is how do we move it beyond M-Pesa. And I think some of the conversations with like the teams on eCitizen and County are saying, well, and I know a lot of my partners are here, we're saying we don't want a closed platform. We want an open architecture where everybody can participate